Hello, it's me. I'm gonna talk about something that's really deep inside of me that needs to come free. Anyways, sorry about that. I just really needed to sing. It's not something that I would typically ever do, and I just needed to because I've always been ashamed of my voice because I don't have this crazy good singing voice. But it's time to let it out now and then. Okay, so today I'm talking about a topic that actually is really exciting for me to start talking about because it's something that I've been walking out for the last probably, 10 years of my life. And I feel like I'm starting to get semi of a grip of it. And that is talking about orthorexic. And as well as how it's different from honoring your body for healing and using food and fitness and healthy living, but yet how in this generation today it can get easily morphed due to our situations and also learning about the limbic system in the brain. So I even wrote down notes. It's not something I do very often because usually everything comes from my heart, but this one I was like, I just need to actually have notes. So let me get them. I'm on a walk because it's a nice sweaty day. It's supposed to be 96 degrees and humid in Minnesota, and I'm ready to sweat. So orthorexia, that's a fairly new term, I feel like, that people are just starting to hear about. And ortho means correct, and rexia means an unhealthy psychological state. And so it's where you have this fixation on healthy living and on healthy food or on exercise, where it becomes such an extreme that you have no flexibility to live life, and your brain literally becomes so ingrained into that aspect that you become obsessed about it. And I can speak from that in personal experience for many ways. And it hasn't just happened in one way, it's happened in a plethora of ways throughout my journey, from trying to heal and as well as trying to receive love. So everybody is so individual, first of all. And I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, I have to clarify that. I'm just coming from personal heart experience that has brought me to this place. So orthorexia can come in many different forms. So like I said, it can be you work out all the time because you have to have your body a certain way. Or you eat a certain way because it makes your body like this. Or you live a certain way because if you don't, it's going to keep your body from doing what you want it to do from a state of unacceptance. Not a state of needing to be healthy because you're ill, which that I'll talk about in just a second. But it's usually coming from a broken heart, guys. For me personally, I used to use food for comfort when I was little. I would use food to numb my pain and also to fill a void that I needed in love. Not that somebody was doing anything wrong, like family or anything like that, but there was just something inside of me that I didn't know how to express. And I'm still learning. So then I went from like binging all the time as a kid, feeling like so bloated all the time and just uncomfortable with my body. And then I did this huge switch where I just started cutting calories like crazy. And I also started working out like crazy. And all of a sudden, guys, I lost like 30 pounds in like 4 months. And I started getting compliments, and I started getting love. I started getting attention, and I started being asked out on dates. I felt like I was a part of popular crowds with my friends. And so I started ingraining this unworthiness with this false part with my body. And I felt confident and I felt good. And it was a short-term fix for a broken heart. And so that's where I think orthorexic comes on in, is this fixation and this addiction. And when you start, you just need little bits, but all of a sudden it turns into deeper and deeper and deeper aspects of this addiction. And then, I'll get to my notes if I'm even looking at them. So basically, orthorexic, you have no flexibility. And the way that you can start to ask yourself this and to see if you have this addiction is, can I stop working out for a couple days? Or will I freak out and think that I'm going to gain all this weight and then people won't love me or I won't love myself? Or can I stop eating this certain diet and is it going to be okay? Like anytime you literally can't take a break from something, I think that's a sign of an addiction. And that's definitely in places that I was at for many reasons. And then I want to talk about the importance of also honoring your body and taking care of it, especially in a day and age where we have so much stress. We have so many food-like products that aren't even food. And we also have a really big imbalance of illnesses that are happening where people are using food as medicine, which I think is so beautiful. Me as an example. And so how do you learn to honor your body without getting fixated on it, without letting this food control you, but doing it from a place of love rather than a fear? And that's where the big journey, I think, of balance starts to play out. So I wrote down here that food does heal. And for my incidents, I took an antibiotic with a very unhealthy, unworthy mindset because I was breaking out from acne and I was on prescription. Hi there. I was on prescription, what's it called? Birth control because of acne. And that took away my symptoms for a while, but it wasn't healing the actual problem. And then also I took antibiotics that a dermatologist gave me, and it really messed up my gut and my immune system too. So I went to a raw food diet, vegan style, because it's kind of what came up in my way, and I really believe that God put it in my way for a purpose, and it really helped. I mean, for years afterwards, my digestive system was good. I was just feeling good. I really agreed with a lot of the lifestyle. But psychologically, guys, it isolated me. It triggered me more. I had to eat this way to stay healthy. And it started to absorb my whole life. And again, that's not why I moved to Hawaii and lived there for a couple years, but it was one beautiful benefit of it. But I started to isolate and go into groups because of hurt and fear rather than out of love. And that's just my story. It's not saying it's everybody's story. And so I started to create this subconscious thought process that when I saw meat or when I saw food that wasn't on my quote unquote lifestyle diet, I swear I was creating a fear reaction that every time I saw it, I had judgment. I thought other people weren't as good as me, that everybody should be eating the way that I was eating, because it helped my physical problems, but then it became a deeper religious thing, pretty much. So, what do you do when you are trying to heal from physical issues, but yet not be controlled by your diet, and especially when people maybe think you're crazy or doctors don't agree that you have issues going on? Like I remember trying to tell my doctor and totally had to fight for my situation. Rather than just giving me another pill or telling me it was all in my head, which to an extent, it was started to create a part in my head. Because what happens over a long time, guys, if you have a trauma, that can be physical, that can be from an emotional or mental standpoint. So physical, I mean, it can be from a virus, a bacteria, it can be from a concussion, a head blow, an accident. And then mental and emotional from other traumas in your life, or your life doesn't go a certain way that you need to control, or you have abuse, or you have a financial situation, things that slowly start to accumulate stress. And then there could be chemical traumas, and because we're in a world where we eat chemicals and we smell them constantly, and so that creates an imbalance and a protection in us. And then there's just other states too that can come on in. But when that happens, guys, our brain, it's called our limbic system, our emotional part in our brain, starts to have its first experience, will go into a remembrance to protect. And so then let's say you have another emotional stressor, or you smell another chemical, or you eat another chemical, or you see something that triggers a physical response. It can happen all the time that your body just ingrains a deeper stress response where your body is fully on fight or flight mode. And for me, that has happened for years and years and years, where all of a sudden it led up to a point where my body just shut down because it was in such a flight or fight mode. And I didn't know what was going on. So then I ingrained in food deeper, saying food was gonna heal me, which food is a part of healing. But I realized that over time, when I kept ingraining food and ingraining food and ingraining food to help protect me, it kind of created a deeper rut for myself. And again, this is just me. I just thought I would start explaining this to people because there is such an imbalance out there where we're trying to heal ourselves, but yet psychologically and neurologically, we start to create deeper fear that comes out later. And God doesn't call us to be stuck in a situation where we are restricted, but yet He didn't create these foods that are not real food either. No matter, I totally agree with the whole foods diet, whatever way, animals or not. I just think that when we start creating fear around certain foods, we trigger responses within our body that are worse than eating those foods sometimes. So the question is, guys, are you eating a certain way? Are you living a certain way out of fear or out of love? Boy, these glasses kind of look really funny, actually. Sorry, it's got them at like a cheap store and I'm trying out glasses. What are you doing? I had to step back, guys, and let go of my food. I had to let go of eating my raw vegan fruit juice lifestyle for a while because I had to heal a part inside of my heart and a part of my brain to say that there's more to this than just that. That's one portion of a tool. That's one aspect of life that is so important to have. But when it starts to rule you, we throw ourselves in an imbalance. And a lot of this is about balance, guys. And healing isn't just in the physical. We're a spiritual and emotional being. And we forget about that sometimes. And in our society in America, we're often just so focused on the body, so focused on symptoms, so focused on all these things, which I was also going to say, the brain is connected to the heart. There's a connection. And the brain is connected to your gut. And so when you start having food sensitivities and you start having colitis or you start having all of these things going on that are bothering your gut, it could be from an actual brain issue that's going on. And I don't want to diagnose anybody with a brain issue. That's not what I mean. But out of fear and out of trauma, out of experiences. So we are just so much deeper than what we even know. And will you step back and almost look at your life from a standpoint that you haven't looked at? Can you let things go and heal? Doesn't mean you have to let go of food forever. Like, I'm going back to literally a more of a balance, but also there might be a time where I just want to eat the way that I was eating before because it's in balance with me right now. Because healing is just a little bit about the body. I think it's so much more than what we know. So, guys, can you let go of your exercise addiction for a couple days? Can you let go of the food that you eat for a couple days so you can actually maybe feel something more? And ask yourself maybe what's going on is more than what you've known. And I'm not saying you should at all. I'm just asking you, can you? Because when you can actually start asking those questions, that's when truth can come on in and God can speak. And I actually want to end it with about talking about some of what Jesus talks to the disciples about. And again, if you don't follow Jesus, that's totally fine, guys. You're so welcome to still be a part of this channel. It's just that He is like my love in my life. Hey guys, sorry, my video storage got totally filled and so I had to delete a few things. But anyways, I wanted to finish a little bit of this video with talking about some wisdom and knowledge from Jesus, because personally I believe that He is the deity of God in flesh, that He is God, and that we can learn a ton of things from Him for this world today, even though it was like 2,000 years ago when He walked the earth. But anyways, so it's in Mark 7, 15 through 17, he talks to his disciples about eating things, basically. He said, nothing outside a person can defile, and defile means to spoil them, by going into them. Rather, it is what comes out of a person that defiles them. And then the disciples are like so complex, not complex, but like confused. And they're like, what is he talking about? And he goes, hello, don't you see that nothing that enters a person from outside can defile them? What comes out of a person defiles them. For it is from, what did I write down? It is from things out of a person's heart, which can mean whatever your lifestyle is that isn't pure and holy and beautiful, and that might be out of fear and leading down to other things. And he says, all these things inside a person defiles them. So just a little wrap up of that. And then basically, I really believe what he's saying here is that all things are permissible to eat. Like he gives us a whole foods diet to eat. I don't think he gives us food-like substances and we can pray over them and then just believe that they're not going to bother our bodies. I just don't think that even, and maybe there's certain circumstances that can happen. I believe in miracles, totally. But like, I've listened to Dr. Caroline Leaf a lot, and she goes, you can't just bless your cookies and believe that they're going to be like kale to your body or fruit to your body. Like, there's a difference. But then he also talks about that there's freedom in that. There's freedom to eat. There's freedom to not be so focused on your food. But yet, we don't have to eat food-like products. He never made those. That's not what he intended us to make. He never had those in the garden. Let's be honest. So how can you yet think about that, those things, you can eat all things, but what really bothers and what really spoils and what really ruins a person is what's in the heart, guys. It's what happens of why we do things that end up causing conflict in our bodies too. So where's the root? Is it really foods issue? Whole foods issue? Eating things that are totally cooked on your own and not from a prepackaged box or candy wrapper? Or is it from things that have happened to us emotionally? Things that have happened trauma, things that have happened of unforgiveness and hurt. I think those are the things that start to cause issues within our bodies. And then chemical foods and the things that are not foods can totally throw our bodies off too. Hands down, cannot forget that. But where is it coming from? And then it says in 1 Corinthians 10:23 that all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. So in certain seasons, you might be able to eat a certain way, and the next season you might not. Or you might eat a certain way, and then you go to somebody's house who makes you a beautiful meal out of love, and are you going to say no? It's totally, each season is different. To know that life isn't always going to be stagnant in the same way, that things are going to change. But can you go inward, guys, to find out more? So, this video again is about the difference of orthorexic and also about eating healthy. And so can you let things go? Can you be flexible and believe? Can you retrain your fear circuits in your brain to be out of love? It all takes time. And it all takes going out on the limb and believing in faith. And your story is completely different than mine, and completely different than your friends, and completely different to another YouTuber, or completely different from your mentor. Just know that God, the Spirit of God, can lead you into truth. And I believe that for you. And so if you need anything, please reach out. I'd be happy to be along a support journey with you, because this is a topic that I think is just becoming more known to people. So I believe in you, and I'm stepping out on the limb with you through this all, so that you can find freedom and joy in food, in life, in your body, and in wellness in all ways. Take care.